Yes, today we're talking about the next game in the collection, and this is a cool one. Gottlieb's 1980 Haunted House. Terrific machine. And I picked this up in August of 2020. This is like right after I moved back here to Europe. And you know, I already had the black hole. I had bought that in the States, and since I had the black hole, I've always wanted a haunted house to go along with it. And as you see here in the collection, it's sitting right next door right now, which is where it needs to go. But yeah, Haunted House was definitely a game I was interested in finding, and you know, they don't come up too often. I'll have to put up on the screen here how many were actually made. I'm not 100% sure how many were actually produced, but you know, it's a really complicated machine. It goes without saying. 3 different playfields here, you know, a lower playfield, a main playfield, and an upper playfield. This game's got 8 flippers. It's got 4 pop bumpers. It's got, you know, drop target banks. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So a lot to maintain. And I guess from what I understand, a lot of these were probably not too popular with operators because of, yeah, how much work it takes to keep the thing running. And I can definitely attest to that for the one here I have in my collection. It keeps me on my toes. Every time I play it, I seem to find something that needs to be adjusted or fixed. So a lot of these may or may not have survived. So where did I find this one? I got this one in a town called Haarlem, Netherlands, right up near the Dutch coast, pretty close to Amsterdam. I saw this thing listed on a Dutch marketplace type website, and it was advertised as not working, wouldn't start, blah blah blah. So I went out there to take a look. I think the guy wanted like 2,000 euros for it or something, you know, a little bit more than $2,000. And I went out there and took a look at it, and it was in bad shape. It had been in this house ever since the guy bought the place. It had been in the basement when he bought the house. The last people that moved out didn't want to bring the game with them, didn't want to move it. And you can see why, right? I mean, this one is one of the heaviest pinball machines ever made. I think close to 300 pounds. You know, it's a wide body, obviously, and it's long, too. It's a long machine. You know, the only saving grace with this thing is that the head does come off pretty easy. You actually have to take the head off. The head does not fold down on these older Gottliebs. You have to actually remove it. So, but anyway, I went to get this thing, and it was a basket case. You know, the playfield was you know, had a lot of wear on it. You know, obviously the game would not start. There's the attract sound. It's great. The back glass had some flaking down here at the bottom, and you know, I took a risk. None of the displays would come on, so I took a risk, and I think I paid about 900 euros for this thing, and I was not really happy to pay that much. That's right around $1,000 for a broken game. To pay $1,000 for a broken game, I left out of there thinking I'd gotten ripped off. So brought the thing back and did a whole restore on it. You can see on the channel here, I've got, you know, a whole video series where I did a lot of repainting on the playfield here. You know, this whole area here was pretty well worn, where there's a slight mismatch sometimes between this plexiglass window and the playfield. Got a brand new green window. Those are still available. Of course, rebuilt all the pop bumpers. You know, rebuilt all 8 flippers. That's a lot of work and a lot of money, let me tell you, to rebuild 8 flippers. And these Gottlieb flippers, they're not my favorite. Sometimes I have issues still with these things kind of hanging up sometimes. It did need a new plastic set. Pretty much all the plastics were either cracked or damaged or warped. So I did get a brand new plastic set. I think I got that from Marco's Specialties in the States. I can't remember. But it did add a bit to the cost. But yeah, most of the work was fixing the playfield, repainting a lot up here where these diamonds are. And then all around where these pop bumpers are, the Mylar had lifted and the artwork was gone. There was a bit of damage on this upper playfield here as well. There were a bunch of electrical issues I had to sort out on the machine as well, and I did work through that. Go check out the channel. But yeah, got the thing to fire up and slowly work through all, some transistor issues and, the whole 9 yards, right? I had sound problems where the sound wasn't working, and I fooled around with the soundboard for quite a while. I actually used Black Hole to help troubleshoot. I was playing Swaptronics, moving parts back and forth. Finally figured out the soundboard issue, got the sound fixed on it. And the back glass you see here is a reproduction back glass. The quality of the back glass is phenomenal. So, yeah, and you can see I've, when I pull the back glass off, we'll look inside the back box. You can see the lighting that I've put in here. I think I've got a couple fire bulbs in here, a red fire bulb up in the attic, and then some blue fire bulbs here. And then I think there's some pink bulb. There's like a white card in here that kind of gives it a three-dimensional effect. Really, really cool. And then there's a fire bulb behind the Raven's eye here. You can see on top of the machine, I got a couple of toppers up here, some things. I 3D printed these two. This Raven and the Tombstone actually 3D printed. The skull I got from a local dollar store for a couple bucks, and just held them up there with some Velcro. But yeah, it's a terrific machine. Let me go ahead and put the camera on the tripod, and we'll raise the playfield quick. I'll show you what underneath the playfield looks like, and we'll take a look inside the back box, and then we'll play us some Haunted House. Alrighty, so we got some light here, and I got my prop rod ready. This is what I use to prop up this playfield. This is just a shower curtain rod. It's adjustable, and it's really the best thing because Haunted House does not have its own prop rod to hold the playfield up. I've already taken the ball out so as to not cause any damage, and what I do with this prop rod is I stick it right here and normally go right here on this latch. Nice solid point where this playfield is so big and heavy. Even if you had a prop rod on one side, I think if I held it up that way, actually I take that back. Haunted House does have a prop rod. It's Black Hole that does not have a prop rod. Haunted House has a prop rod, but I don't use it because you put a prop rod here on this side and it creates a lot of stress. And this playfield twist, it's got this big hole here in the center. I just have a nightmare about this playfield breaking or something terrible happening. So anyway, that's the playfield propped up, and get the camera in closer here, and we'll see if we can raise the lower playfield. You see the lower playfield down here? Okay. And the lower playfield is just sitting in there now. There's actually a screw that you can install here in the corner, and you can secure it, but there's really no reason to do that in your home. If you're transporting it, I guess you would want to do that, but in the house, it just sits in here. And I do have to be careful. The transformers for this machine are in the back. There's two of them. And these Gottlieb System 80 and the 80B games, those transformers have exposed lugs on them. And if you touch that, I would definitely be electrocuted. It's I've been shocked by this game in the past. Really terrible story. There's a video on the channel about it. This game damn near killed me. But you can see underneath the lower playfield here, this game is not, it's kind of dirty down here. I guess I didn't do a whole lot of like scrubbing or, well, I vacuumed it out, didn't I? But I certainly didn't restore the cabinet completely. I just kind of swept it out, vacuumed it out, and moved forward from there. But yeah, you got your two speakers down there in the bottom, and like I said, there's two transformers in this machine, and the transformers are actually an issue because you can actually see those transformers back here, right? There's a large one and a small one. And these transformers might cause me a problem when I move back to the States, because the way I understand it is these transformers might have been put in here for the overseas European market. I believe those transformers are set up for 220 or 240 volt systems. I have to check on that, but I know that all the other games in the whole collection are able to be reconfigured for voltage, except for Black Hole, which is right next door. Black Hole is set up on 110, and I use a step down transformer that's underneath the machine on the floor. And this game has the opposite problem. It is already configured for 220, and if I take it back to the States, I believe I'll have to use a step-up transformer. But that'll be a problem that I'll face at that point, and maybe I'll make a video about it when I do get back, and it'll be a big project to get all these games reconfigured for their voltages. But yeah, you can see the bottom of the Gottlieb System 80 here. You know, terrific machines. The mechanisms in these machines are, you know, the best as far as I'm concerned. I think they over-engineered a lot of stuff. And, you know, this game had a little bit of corrosion from being in this basement. Not this basement, but the basement that it was in when I bought it. It had been there for quite a while. There was a little bit of corrosion here. Some of the parts I had to take out and put some Scotch-Brite and emery cloth to them. This game has been fairly reliable. I do have issues with flippers getting stuck and, you know, mechanical interference and things like that. But electronically, the game is in good condition and haven't had too many other issues so far. So let's put this back down. And like I said, it is only a single ball game. It's not a multi-ball game. There's a mod now that you can get for Haunted House where it turns it into a multi-ball game. You have to modify your definitely the sounds, because they add speech to the game, which Black Hole already has speech, and Haunted House has the soundboard that supports speech, but it never had any speech. So there's a mod out there that you can do where I guess you have to change the game ROMs a little bit and the sound ROMs, and it turns one of the holes down here in the lower level into a lock. I don't know. It's okay. I like the game original as it is. So yeah, it's worked great. This upper playfield is really a lot of fun. Actually, I think when I think about games that have upper playfields and second playfields, I say Haunted House is my favorite, even better than Twilight Zone. I really love Haunted House's upper playfield here. The pop bumper in the center adds a whole element of randomness where the ball can start flying back and forth. You got a full-size 3-inch flipper on the right. You got a little tiny 2-inch flipper on the left that just has like a pinball rubber on it. You know, like a standard rubber. It doesn't even have like a big thick flipper rubber. And this upper playfield has a hole here where you drop all the way to the cellar. And then of course to get up here, you drop into this hole over here. It pops you up to the attic. And then of course you can shoot this ramp and get up there. It's quite a difficult shot with these flippers. The Gottlieb flippers here are not the strongest things in the world. So getting up here is, it's not a gimme. It's not a gimme. There's 2 kickers here. Then there's a locked hole over here. Not a lock, but it's a hole where you can score an extra ball when it's lit. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the game. You can increase your scoring by knocking down the banks of drop targets. I believe if you knock down the upper bank of drop targets, you get double scoring downstairs. If you knock down these lower drop targets, you get double scoring upstairs, if I remember correctly. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you hit all of these targets, then you illuminate this light here for extra ball. Then you can get an extra ball. And you've got a trap door here underneath the ramp. You shoot, if this is lit and you shoot around here, this loop, this trap door will open. As soon as you hit this little gate, the trap door will open and you'll fall down into the cellar. So, and there's another way down the cellar. There's actually 4 ways to get into the cellar. You got the trap door, you got the hole from the top playfield, you got a hole over here, which says to cellar. And then also this target that looks like a target, it's actually not a target. It's actually, it breaks away, it's spring loaded, and you shoot here and this ball will go down into the lower playfield, into the cellar. So there's 4 ways to get down there. It's really cool. Really, really cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the back glass. We can take a look at the boards, and then we're going to set up the camera again, and we're going to play some Haunted House. All right, so let me see if I can reach in here without moving the machines out. It would be a real bear to have to move this machine out. But I think I can make it. So you can see this back glass. This is a great back glass I got. It's a reproduction. And it's got full masking on the back. They really did a great job on this. And I think I gave 150 euros for that. It's about $175. There's one of the attract sounds. Which is a good price for a back glass. If you try to get a reproduction back glass, you can be looking at $300 easy, $250. Okay, so you can see the boards here, and well, it's been a while since I've been in here. You get the NPU up here, and power supply up on the top left, the soundboard on the lower left, and then the driver board on the bottom right. What have I done in here? Again, I did have a bunch of soundboard issues, and it looks like the CPU on the soundboard was changed. It looks to me like it's got a new CPU in it, or one that I popped in there. And that must have been the issue that fixed it. I did recap it. I see all new caps on the soundboard. Beyond that, yeah. What else have I done? I don't see a lot. Storage battery was removed. You know, I'm looking at this thing to see if I even have an NV RAM in here, or how is this thing getting its power stored? The battery's been removed because it had not been saving scores, and I couldn't figure out why, but that's definitely why. I did remove the battery here because it was obviously leaking alkaline, and it caused a little bit of damage. I can see where I've cleaned the traces there. Again, go back and watch the Restore series. You'll see all about that. If you have a Gottlieb System 80 game, one thing you want to look at is this interconnect cable between the NPU and the driver board. On the right-hand side of it, I believe, is the ground, and you can see that the back plate of this of the head is wood, so there's no metal back plate here, and the way that the ground is transmitted to the boards is through wires. And the way that they sent the ground between the NPU and the driver is through these wires on the right-hand side. Don't know if you can see that, but there's a white and black wire. Basically, the connector here, edge connector, in the beginning only had a ground on one side of the edge connector. And if you lost that ground, you would get all kinds of issues with the game. So you want to actually change that connector so where you have ground wires on both sides, so that you have two paths to transmit or to send that ground between the boards. So, okay, we'll put this back in, and there we go. That down. You can see the light LED color pattern that I used here. These flashers here are not computer controlled. There's another board in here. Haunted House, Black Hole, TX Sector, Robo War, they all have the same board. And that board animates these lights in order. So that's not computer controlled. But you can see the fire bulbs that I have here and the blue fire bulbs. And then, yeah, these are all just blue, and then there's some pink bendies here. So, yeah, that color combination works quite well. So, all right, I'm going to get the back glass back installed on the machine and set the camera back up, and we'll play some Black Hole. Excuse me, we're going to play some Haunted House. We're not going to play Black Hole. We're going to play Haunted House. All right, we're going to get and play some Haunted House, and it's definitely the most difficult game I have to film because it is so big and difficult for me to even reach the flipper buttons, but I'll give it my best shot. Speaking of flipper buttons, I didn't mention so far, is that the game actually has two sets of flipper buttons. And you can see that here. You've got your main flipper buttons here, and then when you go to the lower or the upper playfields, the cellar or the attic, you have to remember to switch to the other flipper button here, the green flipper buttons. And people that play Black Hole, or excuse me, people that play Haunted House, it's funny when you watch them because they will inevitably forget if they're, you know, somewhat of a new player, or they haven't played it in a while. They'll forget, and you see the ball immediately drain where they hit the wrong flipper button. So, all right, we're gonna fire this up, and I'm gonna try to not call it Black Hole anymore. It is Haunted House. I'm going to try to get it up under that upper playfield. That's where most of your points are. It's really hard for you to see all this. Okay, we're down in the lower playfield. Oh! See that upper playfield now. Really great motion out there. Okay, so we got double scoring now. Double scoring upstairs and downstairs. And that 9,000 in front of us is our lower so-called monster bonus. And that's just for our lower playfield. Back downstairs. Now we got double scoring on the main playfield. Ah, it goes again. Couldn't get to that. Hopefully you're able to see that upper playfield. The game's so big, it's really hard to film. Oh, bounced right out of that. Downstairs. Into the lock hole down there. Whoa. Okay, our trapdoor's lit. So we can shoot that lit 4 up there, and then the 5 we'll get our extra ball lit, or we can shoot our trapdoor here. I'm gonna shoot for the trapdoor or try to get up the stairs, one or the other. Or not. Uh-oh. Ah! That's not good. Yeah, there's a big wide flipper gap on these Gottliebs. I don't know if you'd noticed that, but there's a massive flipper gap. Looks like I need to actually adjust my flipper angle here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to try to get cracking on these videos and get through the rest of the collection because there's still quite a few games to talk about. So subscribe and a like there really helps me out, and try to get this channel spread out to more people. So yeah, we get more people to enjoy pinball and cherish these old machines like I do. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next video. Take it easy.